We have breaking news. It comes out of Ottawa. The Supreme Court of Canada has just ruled that a ski resort can be built on land that Indigenous groups say is sacred. It's a battle that has gone on since the 90s. It is a precedent-setting case. That massive development project would be located about 55 kilometers west of Invermere. That's in southeastern BC. We've got CBC's Alison Crawford on the story. She joins me live from outside of the courthouse there in our nation's capital. What are the details in this ruling, Alison?
Well, Suhana, you did a pretty good sum up there. This is a case that really pitted two interests: religious freedoms against the public interest in economic development. And this is a resort that was first, proposed in 1991. And the Ktunaxa First Nation argued that that development, which would have had 23 chairlifts and a gondola that was 3 kilometers long, would have interfered with its ability to conduct religious practices related to their worship of the great grizzly bear spirit. And consultations went on for 20 years. They reduced the scope of the project. They gave the First Nation access to the site for religious practices and songs and gatherings. And all of that in 2009 kind of came to a halt when all of a sudden the Ktunaxa said, you know, actually, if you build anything, it's going to drive the great grizzly bear spirit away from this site permanently. So what this court was asked to do is two things. One, determine whether the British Columbia provincial government consulted adequately with this First Nation, and the court unanimously said yes. It really worked very hard to accommodate the concerns of this First Nation over 20 years, and it did make a lot of big changes to protect the grizzly bears. Today, though, what was really interesting and novel is that there's a new kind of interpretation of rights to religious freedoms. So to say here that the Ktunaxa were not seeking protections to worship the grizzly bear spirit. They were seeking to protect the great grizzly bear spirit itself. And today the Supreme Court said, and I quote, "The Charter protects the freedom to worship, but it does not protect the spiritual focal point of worship." And to do so, they pretty much said that would go beyond that scope of Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Suhana?
And the larger implications, let's look at that. What are they of today's ruling?
Well, I think every single First Nation and anyone who has religious cases before the courts right now